I'm going to show in this video a breakdown of Emerson and the famous scene in which he becomes a transparent eyeball. Anyone who is familiar with American literature should know this scene. It's definitely a Jeopardy question type of thing that I have mentioned in class before. So, the first step of this process of Emerson becoming a transparent eyeball involves precognition. So, like this knowing beforehand, precognitive before knowing. So, before knowing, a person, he would say man, a person is a social being. A person is not alone. A person is defined by things, by public notions, by human constructions. So, you have this person, and he has his house. And so he's got his little house here. Forgive my drawing, but I like to kind of sketch this one out. So here's Emerson coming out. He's in front of his house, and I'm gonna put his little hat on there. And he comes out, and he's a social being. So he's a social being, and he doesn't exist except in relation to other people. He can't truly be alone. No one really can. Other great thinkers that came before, those same great thoughts are continued in the mind of the person when reading. So I love this line about not being able to be alone when reading, because effectively you're inside the mind of someone else. So this being comes out of the house, and he is in but not of nature. This is a state of perception. He departs the social state. He's seeing anew, but he's still possessed of a mean egotism. Okay, so he gets out of the house, and he's in the state of starting to perceive. He's leaving the social space, and he's starting to see things in a new way. So here he is. He's out of the house now, and he's going to step outside. So we're going to have to put him outside now with his hat on. And here I put a little smiley. Or well, he looks kind of sad there, but all right. So he's outside, and he's in nature, but he's not really of nature. And then the next step, okay, so we've done perception. We're going to do relation now. He becomes a child. Sorry for the typo there. Right here, there's a let's see one now. Okay, but he's becoming a child. So this is a state of relation. He's relating to being a child. The heart of the child is an organ of perception, and he casts off years like casting off a snake skin. So here he is, put his little hat on, and put his arms on there. He casts off himself. So that's himself kind of being cast off there. Let me put my little trees in here because he's out in nature. Now he says he's walking across the common, but then he does mention the woods. So the whole point is he's outside. He's not in a social space. Now he's in the next stage is a state of apprehension. He's becoming a transparent eyeball. This is the really famous Emersonian analogy, a pure organ of perception, allowing relation to become pure apprehension of the divine. Okay, so what happens there? Well, if he's a transparent eyeball, he is like the eyeball now at this point. So we'll put our little eyeball with the top hat, and this is like the caricature that's in their reading. So, why a transparent eyeball? Well, an eyeball sees out, but if it's transparent, there can also be seeing that goes into the eyeball. And when that happens, there's this exchange, right, going in and out. That's when there's this union where he becomes part and particle of God. And that is the moment of becoming what he'll call in later writings one with the over soul. So Emerson, in some ways, we could say he gave God a new name in his writings called the oversoul. And the individual soul here, at the moment of becoming a transparent eyeball, joins this oversoul, this larger soul to which all people belong. And to go back to the earlier state of relation here, of being a child in nature, the child phase, children, according to how Emerson writes in a number of different essays, they're closer to a state of oneness with the oversoul, or God, if you will, or nature, if you want, because children don't have as many barriers and preconceptions in the way as do adults who've been filled with knowledge, and they have to try to strip off the knowledge and strip off some of those years, like casting off a snake skin, the way a snake sheds its skin, in order to become this realization of the greatest thing a person can be, one with the oversoul.